Evan's Journey to Life. Flying High, Crashing Hard, Day 38. As mentioned in the previous post, we're starting the process of walking the conclusion of the soul of fear, how we, as fear, as blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, accept and allow the deliberate physical abuse of the mind to the physical and the world system of money to this physical existence for our survival and possession as energy and money. And within this, how the manifestations of ourselves as space and time and quantum time have separated us, where we do see what we're doing, accepting and allowing, but we don't stop because we have accepted and allowed ourselves to make energy as fear authority over and of life and living. To walk this process of how we're seeing consequence, but not stopping within and as our relationship as energy authority, as mind and money to the physical body and this physical existence, we're going to have a look at an analogy where we're in a plane flying in quantum time high above the earth as physical space-time, with the plane as the manifestation of the mind and energy as quantum time, separated from and of the earth by space and time. Where in and as the plane, we do see, when looking out the window and through the eyes of the physical reality, what is happening on earth as the manifested consequence. But we don't stop and land the plane of and as ourselves as mind and energy, to stand here on and with earth and this physical existence, to take responsibility for our consequence to the physical body and this physical existence that we as the mind and money accepted and allowed to manifest. And instead, preoccupy ourselves in the plane and mind with thoughts, etc., and controlling when we looking outside the windows and through the eyes of the physical and reality at the manifested consequence we create to the physical body and this physical existence, while primarily choosing to preoccupy ourselves in the plane and mind and not look out the window and through the eyes of the physical in and as equality and oneness. But what we do not see, realize, and understand is that eventually the plane will have to land due to it being dependent on fuel, equal to and one with how we, in and as the mind and energy, is dependent on the fuel of and as the physical body to transform and consume into energy, equal to and one with how the world system of money is dependent on the fuel of and as this physical existence to transform and consume into money, where as the plane run out of fuel, the mind run out of physical fuel. And so eventually we crash and burn as the mind in the physical and manifest our own death. Then our landing as the mind and energy back into reality and physical comes with a crash and death, not ever realizing how we created our own death in the physical through the mind. Thus, the process of walking, writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application is assisting and supporting the plane as the mind to land with ease into and as the physical body, realizing our responsibility to the physical body and this physical existence. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how I have, in the beginning, within and as my conception of separation within my beingness and manifested singularity, separated myself into and as energy-consuming substance, where energy became the plane I took off with within myself, fueled by and through my substance within and as my beingness and manifested singularity. In that moment of taking off, flying away, yet within and from substance in and as my beingness and manifested singularity, I separated me from and of my standing here in and as equality and oneness with substance and existence manifest, abdicated my directive principle and responsibility to all in and as equality and oneness as I was flying high within myself as energy, as quantum time, from here in and as existence as substance manifest, where I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, throughout time, I evolved my plane as energy and my experiences and relationships with myself in and as the plane as energy. And whenever it felt like the plane and energy was running out of fuel and losing energy, as going into and as the negative energy experience, fear of loss and crashing and dying, it would instigate and initiate my movement and process of survival, and would refuel the plane of and as energy through consuming more and more substance into and as the depths of my beingness and manifested singularity, where I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, in this relationship, I manifested as flying high in my plane of energy as quantum time, separated from the here of and as equality and oneness. I had separated me into and as the plane, flying high within and above substance as my beingness and manifested singularity below, so preoccupied with maintaining my survival as energy and flying high in the plane as the positive energy experience through reaching the heights of flying, higher and higher and higher, as experiencing the more and more and more of me as energy, as positive energy experience. That I did not see, realize, and understand the consequences and origin of me I was creating and manifesting below me in and as my beingness and manifested singularity, as the nature and action of me in and as blame, as spite, excuse, and justification, as consuming substance, through and as friction and conflict as negative energy experience, as I was only concerned with me reaching the heights of my own experience as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how the more and more throughout time I separated me from beingness and manifested singularity and existence as a whole in and as equality and oneness, where for my plane as energy experience to fly higher and higher as the positive energy experience, as the accumulation of the more of me as energy, to reach those heights as energy, energy consumed the depths of me as substance within myself. And so the higher I was flying in quantum time into the positive energy experience, the more I was separating myself from the here of and as equality and oneness with and as substance and existence. And so would never see, realize, and understand the consequences I was in fact accepting and allowing in the depths of me as substance, because I was chasing after the heights of flying and positive energy experience, until eventually there was no more substance and opportunity left for me to consume onto the depths of me to the heights of myself as energy, and energy would start consuming itself until nothing remained of me or energy as me that I had accepted and allowed myself to be and become, ending as I had begun, consuming me as substance for energy, and eventually consuming myself as energy for energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how throughout time I had evolved my high-flying plane of energy into and as the mind consciousness system relationship to the physical, where the mind consciousness system, in and as the mind consciousness system, plane of and as energy manifest as quantum time flying, I have separated myself from and of my physical body, space, and time that is walking the here of and as equality and oneness, manifested as breath, where in and as the mind and plane, I am automatically flying high in and as the quantum time in separation from and of physical space and time as substance manifest, of and as equality and oneness, where, as the mind, I now exist within and as the conscious, pilot and first class, subconscious, business and lower class, and unconscious mind, engine and fuel, because I had separated myself into and as quantum time energy from the unconscious to the subconscious and conscious mind. I now only exist within and as the energy awareness preoccupation of and as the conscious mind, thoughts, with my subconscious, business, lower class as my automated personalities and internal conversations and backchat, and unconscious mind, the process where my mind consumed physicality to transform into energy and fuel, being automated to automatically consume physicality when and as needed to ensure my survival as energy the moment my entire mind consciousness system is low on fuel and energy. Thus, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how now, as the mind consciousness system, my plane is flying on autopilot in and as quantum time, with my subconscious and unconscious mind automatically consuming physicality and transforming into energy, as I, the pilot, in and as my conscious mind, continue the flight and experience of flying high above, in separation from and of my physical body, space, and time as manifested equality and oneness, with my entire plane as the mind consciousness system being automated to ensure my constant and continuous flying high above, and in separation from and of my physical body. I, in my conscious mind as pilot and first class, simply sit back and let the plane as the mind of energy fly itself, as my entire conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind had become automatic to ensure its own survival as possession of and as energy from and of my physical body. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how in and as this autopilot of and as me as the mind consciousness system as energy manifest, flying high within and as my conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, in separation from and of my physical body. I ensure that I do not land into and as equality and oneness with and as physical space and time as breath, but throughout my life have my mind and plane fly for me as exist for me, as it fuels itself from and of consuming substance from the physical, which I don't see and come into contact with because I am too preoccupied in my pilot and first class status of and as my conscious mind thoughts as reaching the heights of my positive energy experience. That I do not see, realize, and understand the consequences of my flying high on autopilot as the mind, as what my subconscious mind and unconscious mind is in fact doing to and towards my physical body within and as the friction and conflict as negative energy experience that manifest as consuming physicality to transform into energy. And furthermore, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, with my conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind seats, preoccupied with knowledge and information, thoughts, memories, emotions, feelings, personalities, etc., which only exist to ensure my survival as energy, as flying high above the earth and the physical body through consuming physicality and transforming it into energy, where in and as this plane as the mind, my only interest is flying high, in and as quantum time, and I will only now and then look out through the windows of the plane, the windows of the eyes of the physical, and see my physical body as the pain and discomfort it experiences, see the physical consequences as abuse, violence, war within this physical existence. But I do not, in fact, look in and as equality and oneness with and as my physical body and this physical existence as me, because my seeing is within, as and from the plane in mind, apparently flying high above the physical body and this physical existence, in and as absolute separation. And so I see through the eyes of the mind and not through the eyes of the physical body, in and as equality and oneness, and not through the eyes of existence in and as equality and oneness. And thus, all I see through the mind and plane is within and as a starting point of me as energy in the mind. And so I will only see the physical body and this physical existence as an opportunity for me to consume physicality, to transform into energy for my own possession and survival of and as energy and mind and consciousness, and not see the consequence I, as the mind and money, create and manifest to and towards the physical body and this physical existence, because I am too busy flying high in and as quantum time and not here, landed, grounded, and earth in and as equality and oneness with my physical body and this physical existence as me. We will continue in the next post with the analogy of the plane and the mind, the world's system of money, in more detail, as the process of walking the soul of fear and how we as fear that drives and fuels the plane in mind and consciousness will deliberately continue with our natures and actions of blame within and as spite and excuse and justification to protect and defend our survival and possession as experience of flying high, as positive energy experience. And in and as this fear, deliberately not see the consequences we create as the mind and money to the physical body and this physical existence. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, assist and support myself to land my plane as the mind gently and securely back into and as the physical body, quality and oneness, space and time as breath, as I see, realize, and understand that my mind, plane, controls, and systems had become automated. I, as the pilot of and as me as the mind, have to take control of the systems, which I do through walking one point at a time, one system and program and button at a time, to first get to know how the plane and mind in fact works, that I had accepted and allowed to become automated, and through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, as getting to know the mind and plane, align the controls and systems to eventually land the entire plane and mind into and as earth in the physical body, as I will descend slowly but surely from the heights of quantum time back into and as my physical body, equality and oneness, space and time. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, assist and support myself to simultaneously, as I am walking my descend from the heights of my mind as energy into and as physical equality and oneness here, assist and support myself to see through the eyes of the physical body, to see through the eyes of and as this physical existence, in seeing, realizing, and understanding the consequential relationship between my mind and the physical in this world system of money to this physical existence, where, practically, I assist and support me to walk as breath in and as physical space and time here, and in and as breath, no more accept and allow myself to fly high in separation from my body and this physical existence, using and abusing my body and reality to serve only my interest of energy accumulation, but see how I can assist and support myself to in fact live here, grounded and stable with my physical body, through and as living words, and so ground and stabilize myself to walk into and as the world system of money, and see how I can support and assist the change of the world system of money to live here, and ensure an equal and one life for all. I commit myself to descend back into and as reality of physical equality and oneness, as I see, realize, and understand that the ascension of me into and as energy heights, in fact, consume the depths of me as substance and physicality, and that if I accept and allow myself to continue ascending into flying heights of energy, I am, in fact, equally as one, accepting and allowing myself to create and manifest my own eventual crash and death, where I will come to nothing and no one. Because for me to reach those heights of energy, my mind consumes the depths of physicality. And so I commit myself to land myself securely and stable as my mind back into the physical, to no more accept and allow an existence where beings crash and burn as the mind in the physical, as the mind eventually reach the reality and the physical, when the mind consumed all the substance available in and as the physical body. In this, I commit myself to show that the mind's relationship to the physical is not life, that flying high in energy is not living, because one is using and abusing the physical that in fact give life, and standing equal to and one with the physical as descending from the mind into the physical is the process of learning really what in fact means to live with life as the physical in and as equality and oneness.